Okay, here's the mini smoke, and it's really our smart smoke, but it's been kind of changed. Uh, we're not using any of the smartness. It's actually kind of hardwired smoke because we're not chuffing and puffing with the engine. This is a static representation of a fireplace or a boiler or a furnace or a campfire or a fire in a pot-bellied stove or something like that. So you typically want a drizzle of smoke coming out like you're burning, roasting, whatever you roast. I forget. Roasting chestnuts by the fire. That's it. Chestnuts. Okay, so there's chestnut smoke. How's that? So what we had to do in order to make this work properly is we had to run 4 leads in, 2 power the fan and 2 power the heater. Somebody's going to sleep. I think it's my soldering iron, but that's okay. In order to get it and off of track power, I wanted to be able to run this off of a transformer on the side or off of your main transformer, however you want to do it. This is designed for AC input of about 15 volts maximum, all right, 5 minimum. So you could get a transformer and put it on the accessory, or you could put it on the power side and just run it at 50%. You'd probably be fine. There's the blue pieces here. There's one on either side. You check the wiring here. I've got yellow and blue going to the smoke fan, and the red and the yellow and white. The blue and red are going to the heater. Okay, so this pot down below right there is the heater, and left turn is lowering the voltage, and a right turn clockwise is raising the voltage. And what we've got these set at right now, the fan is set at 5 volts. Bing, right there. Check it, 5 volts. The heater, and I'm checking it right up at the top of the heater coil, is set at 4.8 volts, 4.7 volts. So you could go like 5 and 5. It might get a little hot. Oh, this was timing out on me. Okay. Now I do have a digital temperature gauge on the coil up at the top, the lead coming out of the heater, and we're about 10 degrees cooler than it is down inside. Okay, so we're looking at 127 inside, 117 on the outside. That's about as hot as you want to get it. If you do anything from here, you would lower the temperature, or if you wanted more smoke, you could lower the fan and you get more smoke. But you got to keep an eye on that temperature. You don't want this thing to get around 140 up here because it's 160 down below, and that's not going to make it. That's going to kill it. So you got to watch your temps. Make sure you're getting a trickle of smoke. You can't. It won't look like an oil fire, or something like that. It's going to look like little smoke coming out, and that helps it last a long time too. Okay. So those are the only goofy things. We have the rectifier right here. He doesn't get too warm. I put a heatsink on the heater side. It doesn't really need it, but I just stuck it on. It's not warm at all. And the fan, of course, is low temp. He's not going to need anything. There's no controls here. This is just whatever power is coming out of the buckboard is going into the heater. I've used this board because I had it. It mounts. It gives me a good platform. I'll design a board for this shortly, and we can replace this if this bothers you that you don't have parts. If you had all those parts, that would be great for your steam engines, because as the engine puffs faster, we apply more heat. It's a science thing, okay? Here I just left it off. One, it's an expense, and two, it's more complex, and I just thought it'd be easier for everybody if we just looked at set the volts on the fan and the heater, and just watch the temperatures, and it should run fine. The silver screw there is to take it out, and you can drop your oil in. I put 16 drops of oil to start with on this rock wool. I put a rock wool cube in it. I can do this real quick. The cube is the size of the container inside, so It sort of looks like this. All right, so it's the width and the height of the space inside, but I cut a V into it, like here. And I took out that V so that the opening to the exit, there's a good place for air. And then when I set this down, it's right level with the hole. So when I bring the heater down, I bring the heater just on top of this, and then the leads come up. Pen's not working too well. Anyway, so this is rock wool. This is the heater. This is saturated with oil. Like I said, about 16 drops, soaks that up real nice. And then the fan has an unimpeded flow of air, so it's coming across. It's going to cool this, and it's going to bring the smoke out. Two things. And that's how, if it gets hot, like 219, you say, oh, I don't like that. Well, you can raise the fan temp tiny bit. You know, just lean into that screw, make it go a little faster, and that'll cool it down. I can't do it one-handed because it wants to move on me. These all have, both of these have feet that you can screw into wood or a bedding, drywall. I don't know what kind of surface you have, or you could get a small piece of thin plastic and screw them to that, or you can use double stick foam tape, and put foam tape on the bottom and stick them together, and you can put them side by side or in line. I left these leads long in this particular unit for our field test guy, so he can mess with it. He wants to make his own stack, which I think is marvelous. Let's see what he comes up with. And this is going to be going out to him, and he can play with it and see what he can do. So these are the conditions. This is how it works. And I haven't really timed it, how long it'll do this. I've been doing this for about 20 minutes, I can tell you that, so it's got that. You may want to put it on a timer. You may want to get some kind of a gizmo where you can set it, like your outdoor lights, put it on 2 hours and it turns off, that kind of thing. Might be practical. If you left it on all night, you might have to get a new heater and new rock wool, because it might have cooked everything. If it runs out of oil, it overheats. But the fan is going to run. That's going to help keep it cool. So creeping up to 119, 120, but it's not going to hurt anything. Oh yeah, that plastic, that carbon fiber reinforced PETG is good for 180, 190, so it's going to stay well. Okay, I'm going to button this thing up and get it off to our field guy and see what he thinks. That ought to be interesting. Okay, so that's the fourth assembly of the mini smoke for a caboose, a dining car. We're also building the hot box, right? Which will have LEDs, and I'm working on a sound chip. Ooh, don't get excited. That'll be a while. But also the station, a cabin somewhere out. You could mount this underneath and run the tube up, and you could have a campfire, and smoke would become on the campfire, but this mechanism would be down underneath the table. Whatever floats your boat. I think we're going to see a roundhouse workshop and maybe a station in the near future. A station like mine, but more real. My roof is not exactly perfect, so maybe I can print a roof. I wonder if I can do that. All right, gang. That's a wrap here. Mini smoke. I do have first order of digital, direct current fields with permanent magnets ready to go. They're way over there. I don't know if you can see. If I zoom in, can you see them? There are 3 of them ready to go right there. And anyone else want to take a guess at getting some of this stuff? We're trying to get up to speed on making it and delivering it. So I'm waiting on a PC board for the Puff and Chuff. As soon as I get it, this thing will get stuffed again, and I think this time it will fit in the engine. I've been working on the design with my CAD system, and I think I have that figured out, how I can stack everything and still have room. All right, that's going to do it. It's 10 to 5. I got to ride the bike some more. I didn't do enough this week. Oh, she's a slave driver, I'm telling you. I have to ride my bike or I won't get dinner. I have to clean up or I won't get dinner. It's like she's holding this over me, this food thing. But you gotta eat. I mean, so better, the old story, she who must be obeyed if you want to eat. Okay. Later, gang. Have a good weekend. Talk to you later soon. Bye.